All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. The title of this lesson is going to be called Embrace Your Gift. All right, and so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into it.
This is Romans chapter 14, verse 7. It says, "For none of us liveth to himself, and no man died to himself."
Right. And so if we claim to be in the truth, then our lives are no longer lives that we live in order to fulfill the flesh and to do whatever the hell we want to do, like how we lived when we were in the world. Now our lives are dedicated to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So could you read that again?
God. It says, "For none of us liveth to himself, and no man died to himself."
Right. So, like I said, no man liveth or dieth to himself. So if you live for the Lord, man. That's the point. Okay. And if you die, if we die in the truth, then obviously we're dying for the truth, and we're gonna, Lord willing, we're those men be raised up first. Is there another verse on that? Another point in that verse? If not, we can go to Luke.
Yeah, kind. It says, "For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's."
All right. So it breaks itself down. Okay. Self-explanatory. And so from there we can go to Luke 33. I'm sorry, Luke 11 and 33. My apologies. Luke 11 and 33.
This is Luke chapter 11, verse 33. And it says, "No man, when he hath lightened a candle, put it in a secret place."
Right. So whenever in the ancient world you wanted to see something and it was nighttime in your house, you would take a candle, you light it. Okay. Now, if you want that light to illuminate the room that you're in, you're not gonna take that lit candle that you have and put it, in a drawer or a dresser or a place where the light is going to be hid, right? So go ahead.
God. It says, "No man that had lighted a candle put it in a secret place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick."
Right. Neither under a bushel. A bushel is basically a form of measurement, a bigger, container normally that would measure either liquids or solids for food. Right, so you wouldn't put that under a container. You wouldn't put the candle under the container and cover it. That would be a waste.
Well, they put the light out.
Right, and that too, exactly.
It says, "But on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light."
Right, so you take a candle and you put it on a candlestick, like the menorah. I don't know, we probably got it over there in the other room, but the menorah is 7 candlesticks. And you put 7 candles on each candlestick, okay? And that way the light that the fire is emitting can illuminate the room that is in, right? And so Yahushua talks about how he is the light of the world, okay? And we being children of light, pursuant to 1 Thessalonians 5 and 5, I believe, okay? We are supposed to illuminate this world by preaching the word and by showing forth the works that the Lord has commanded us to do. Okay, so from there, is there more in that?
No, that's pretty much the point.
Okay, so from there we can go to 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. It says, "As every man hath received a gift, so even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High."
Right, so as every man has received the gift, okay, now there's different gifts, which we're going to go into, okay? Can you read that part again, actually?
It says, "As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another."
All right, so as every man has received the gift according to his several ability, like the scriptures say, okay, let him minister one with the same one to another. Okay, so within the body, we ought to serve, because that's what that word minister means. We ought to serve one another, okay, with those gifts that we receive. All right, and we're going to get the next scripture. We got to read verse 11 as well. Matter of fact, we'll go back to First Peter. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and 4. We start at verse 4 real quick.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 4. It says, now there are diversities of gifts.
Right, so there's diversities of gifts. Now, can you go back and read 1 Peter 4 and 10 again?
1 Peter 4 and 10. As every man hath received a gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High.
Right, so there's more than one gift, okay, that the Lord can give. All right, and 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, goes into those gifts. So can we go back to that and keep going?
1 Corinthians 12 and 4 says, now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord.
Right.
And there are diversities of operations, but in the same, the Most High which worketh all in all.
Right. So the Spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is the provider of these gifts and these administrations and what diversities of operations. You know, so that is where that's where basically these gifts that each individual in the truth has that's the source of that. Okay, the Spirit of the Lord. Okay. So pursuant to the different gifts that we were given, we should serve one another, like it says in 1 Peter. I want to finish that in 1 Peter, then we can read finish in Corinthians.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 11. It says, if any man speak, let him speak as an oracle of the Most High, as the oracles of the Most High. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which the Most High giveth, that the Most High in all things may be glorified through Yahweh Shamashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Right. So the Most High may put a spirit on you to have a certain level of understanding or a certain amount of ability to serve or to minister, okay, versus compared to another brother. That brother may be able to do more, maybe because he does not have as many responsibilities in the world, you know, so he has more availability, more free time to basically put more into the truth. There's different situations where the Most High puts each man that comes into this knowledge in order for them to thrive how the Most High wants them to thrive in the truth. You know, and that's why we ought not to compare ourselves basically to one another in the sense of, oh, the Most High gave, you know, this brother less of the Spirit or more of the Spirit than another, you know, because the Most High gave every man the Spirit that he has.
Yeah, the portion that the Most High wanted to give in there.
According to the portion that the Most High wanted to give. Okay, so that's really what needs to be understood in this lesson. Okay, and we ought to embrace that. Okay, because these gifts ultimately are not ourselves, right? They're gifts, so they come from somewhere else, come from the Most High. So that's
okay. Well, every part of the body is needed, you know.
Yep, and we're gonna go back into that First Corinthians, the 12th chapter.
This is 1 Corinthians 12, verse 7. It says, but the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit with all.
Right, every man that's in the truth, of course. Okay, that does the work. The Spirit of the Most High gives that man a particular gift in order to profit, and then those gifts may be different. Talk about diversities of gifts. Okay, you keep going, brother.
Okay, and it says,
verse 8.
For to one is given by the Spirit a word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit.
Right. So you got word of wisdom. All right, being able to basically have wise word, wise counsel. Okay, knowledge. You may have a brother that knows a lot of history. Okay, just a lot of history and is able to use that history that he knows to, you know, interpret the scriptures in a way that the brother would just, you know, just pure wisdom as far as, you know, knowing what to do in particular situations, maybe through experience or whatever. He may not be able to go on that level with the history or, you know, the knowledge of different languages and all this stuff. You know, there's different things that the Most High wants, you know, basically you to focus on, really, to go hard in, you know, call it a lot. You know, you got a certain lot that the Most High give you, same thing. And then faith, you know what I mean? You might have a brother that just have excessive faith, like it's gonna happen, you know. We got brothers in the camp that just we know, okay, that's this brother's strength, that's this brother's strength, that's the Most High that gave that particular brother that strength. You know, you got it, bro.
Yeah. This is verse 9. It says, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues.
Right, so you got the working of miracles. Okay, prophecy, a certain brother may be like really good at just, you know, knowing all of the breakdowns, all the prophecies, you know what I mean? Don't miss a beat. Don't miss a beat on it as far as the prophecies. We should always be sharp on it. You know, the scriptures say covet to prophesy. You know, but that may be a, you know, particular brother's strength. You know, you got discerning of spirits. You know, brother can read people's intentions real good. You know, like, you know, call stuff out in a person. May not be openly, but you still, you know, see certain attributes better than others. Diverse kinds of tongues, brothers speaking English, Spanish, French, Hebrew. All right, better than other. But I mean, that's the examples that are being written here. You know, I guess we just keep going to verse 11.
It says, to another the interpretation of tongues, verse 11. But all these work of that one in the self same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will.
Can we get that word separately? Okay, it says, but all these worketh that one and self same Spirit. So all of these attributes that each individual brother has as a strength or a gift is given once again through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, according and divided to every man severally as he will.
Severally is adios. It says of uncertain affinity pertaining to self, one's own, by implication, private or separate. His acquaintance when they were alone, apart, aside. Right.
So it said pertaining to oneself, right? Yeah. So pertaining to that individual, really, you know. But he divided those gifts pertaining to that individual. The Most High knows us better than we know ourselves. So he's gonna give one gift to a man that he know, okay, this is gonna be his niche, you know. But anyway, I don't want to harp too long on that. Is there more on that? That's it, right? I believe so. First Corinthians. Well, we can go down more, but I wanted to get.
No, that's good.
Okay.
What you
I wanted to get Romans chapter 12, verse 3.
This is Romans chapter 12, verse 3. It says, for I say, through the grace given to you, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
Right. So the grace that was given unto Paul, he said, don't think of a man lower than you. Why? Because these are all gifts that the Most High has given us. Even this whole just the fact that we're in the faith is a gift. You know, there should be more in that too.
It says not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as the Most High hath dealt to every man the measure of faith.
Right. So the measure of faith that he gave, man, or in the parable of the talents. Yeah. Okay. Yahushua, you know, symbolically gave these talents. Well, in the parable, you know, he gave these talents to his servants, right? And one man he gave 10 talents. The other man he gave 5 talents. The other man he gave 1 talent. Why didn't he give the same amount of talents to every individual? Because he chose who's going to give what to. Basically, you know, if he may give, you know, a more higher portion of the Spirit to one individual than the next. All right. But that doesn't mean that we can't be obedient if we receive less or more. All right. The responsibility is there either way. All right. There should be. Did you finish that verse? Okay. Let's go to verse 6 in that chapter.
You want me to skip down to 6? Okay. This is 12 and 6. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith.
Right. So he nailing it home. According to that portion of faith that we receive, let us prophesy. Okay, we're all going to prophesy, but the same thing with the gifts, man. According to the measure the diversity of tongues, according to the measures of the knowledge, according to the measure of wisdom, according to the measure of gift of healing. You know, we've got brothers that have more of an affinity towards plants and, you know, doing the apothecary, you know, type stuff and getting into stones and stuff like that. Fitness, diet, you know, that's in that category. So I'm just saying that's just the Most High put the spirit on that individual to do that. You know, to want to get into that. I guess we can get one or two more. I know you had that one, Second Esdras.
This is
Second Esdras 2 and 37.
Yeah, Second Esdras chapter 2, starting at verse 36. It says, "Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. Oh, receive the gift that is given you, and be glad."
Right. So that gift, you know, ultimately the gift is the faith. All right. But what details within the faith that the Most High, through Yahushua, gives us to overcome may be different from another man who still believes in the same power that you believe in, but he gave him different type of, you know, different types of strengths.
Yeah, administrations.
Different administrations. You know? But ultimately our goal is the same goal, to be delivered from this place, to be delivered from Babylon.
That's right.
Okay? So, but collectively, all of these attributes and strengths that each individual brother has received is going to be used in order to push the whole truth. Okay? And that's you know, that's why it's so important. Like I said, the title of this lesson, to embrace your gift. Okay? Because we're just one piece in a car. Think of it in a car, for example. If you the alternator and you slacking, the car ain't gonna run. Battery's gonna die, car is gonna cut off. If you the oil pump and you slacking, car is not gonna run. There's not gonna be enough enough oil pump to the engine, and it's gonna lock up. Same thing for the fuel pump. So I mentioned the fuel pump, thermostat, car gonna overheat. You know, all these different things. The car has different parts in order to drive. Okay, it's not just one thing in there. It's a bunch of things, you know? Same thing with this truth, man. So is there more in that? I think okay.
It says, "Oh, receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath led you to the heavenly kingdom."
Right, so we ought to be glad in pushing the gifts that we receive, because we, like I said earlier, we're on the way. We're on our aspiration is to receive the kingdom, is to achieve salvation. Okay, receive mercy first, you know. And so last one I got is Ephesians 4 and 7. We're going to end it off on that one.
Okay. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Yahushua Mashiach."
Simple and to the point, man. Every one of us that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahshai is given grace, okay, in order to receive these particular gifts according to the measure of the gift. All right, according to whatever he determines prior to us receiving it, that's what we receive. You know, we won't say, "Oh, you know, I don't know if I want to pick." You know, in the beginning of a video game, you get to pick certain attributes. You know, you get. I want to be an archer. No, I want to be a swordsman. No, I want to be, good on the defense. You know, no, it's a gift. Here you go. We didn't choose him; he chose us. You know, Lord willing, we're those men. So I believe the point was made. Just with that gift that we receive, let us be grateful. Let us cherish it. You know, let us embrace it. Because ultimately the Most High can take it away just as easily as he gave it. So, hey, I brought you brothers edified. With that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.